Hello, and welcome to the second episode of our holiday edition of KSB Reading Pawprints. Today, December 10th, is the first day of Hanukkah. So we will be reading a book together called Meet the Latkes. Meet the Latkes by Alan Silberberg. Meet the Latkes. Meet the Latke family. They're just like you and me, except they're potato pancakes. That's Lucy Latke and her dog Applesauce. So there's a picture of Lucy. She's saying hello, and Applesauce is saying woof. Mama and Papa are busy in the kitchen making fried jelly donuts. A picture of Mama holding a tray of donuts and Dad stirring the batter. And in Hebrew, the jelly donuts are called sufukanayat. Lucy's older brother Lex is reading comic books. "Get out of my room," he shouts. Lex is a teenager. He doesn't care about anything. But Lex should care because tonight's the night, Lucy sings. It's the first night of Hanukkah. No, it's not. Oh, right. There's someone else in the Latke family. So there's a picture of Lex, and he's lounging in his messy room in his bed, reading comic books with soda and chips on the floor, and an air guitar and a laptop in the corner, and he's screaming, "I don't care." And then on the opposite page, Lucy is holding the menorah, and Applesauce is holding a dreidel. Grandpa. Tonight's not Hanukkah, Grandpa says. It's Hanukkah. That's what I said, Lucy is confused. Hanukkah. Grandpa grumbles. Say it with me. Hanukkah. Here's a picture of Grandpa saying hi there and then pronouncing Hanukkah. Actually, both Hanukkah and Hanukkah are right. The holiday's name is Hebrew, so there are different ways to spell it and say it in English. Thanks, Applesauce, says Lucy, says Grandpa. Picture of Lucy talking to Grandpa and Applesauce telling us about the pronunciation and spelling of Hanukkah. So you can spell Hanukkah with an H or with a CH at the beginning. Getting ready for Hanukkah, the Latke family cooks and sings. So Grandpa is correcting our pronunciation again with the sound at the beginning. And then down at the bottom, Lucy and her mom are singing a song, and it goes, "Oh, dreidel, dreidel, dreidel." And they decorate the house, except for Lex. He still doesn't care about anything. So this picture, they're hanging up the decorations. And down here at the bottom, Lex is still laying in his bed looking at his magazines with his headphones in. Then, after the menorah is lit and the dreidels are spun and the gelt gets gobbled, Grandpa plops Lucy onto his lap. Do you want to hear about the miracle of Hanukkah, my little Latke? So there's a picture of the menorah, which is a candelabra. There's a picture of a dreidel, which is a wooden top. And there's a picture of the gelt, which is chocolate coins. I do, Lucy says, biting into her last chocolate coin. Grandpa begins with just a whisper. First, you need to know about the bees. Bees, Lucy asks. Grandpa nods. Hanukkah is a celebration of how the Jewish temple was saved from destruction. We celebrate this holiday thanks to the brave bees who buzzed and stung and fought to keep our people safe. I'm pretty sure there aren't any bees in the history of Hanukkah or Hanukkah, says Applesauce. Pfft, says Grandpa. Whose story is this? So there's a picture of Lucy sitting in Grandpa's lap and applesauce telling us that there are no bees in the story of Hanukkah. Lucy's eyes widen. Were the bees big, Grandpa? Big? They were huge, giant. They were mega bees. You mean Maccabees? Nope, Grandpa says. Definitely mega bees. And the biggest, bravest bee of them all was Judah Meggabee. Judah Maccabee. He was a mighty warrior and a heroic Jew who lived in Israel more than 2,000 years ago. And there were no bees. So a picture of a giant bee with a shield. And then down the bottom of the picture, applesauce is holding a picture of Judah Maccabee, who is not an actual bee. But Lucy can see it now. Judah and his swarm of giant bees, buzzing and stinging and fighting to save the Jewish temple and the lives of everyone who worshipped there. And who do you think Judah and his big bees were battling? Grandpa asks. So here's a picture of the bees. They're breaking columns and got their shields, and they look very vicious. And applesauce says, that's easy. It was alien potatoes from planet Grandpa booms. Zip, zap, zowie, Grandpa continues. Outer space spuds invaded Earth. Lasers shot from their eyes, and they had a lot of eyes. Everyone was doomed. So there's a picture of some alien potatoes that are zapping the Earth with their many, many eyes. And Lucy is saying no, and Grandpa is saying yes. And applesauce is saying, this is ridiculous. And the Earth is yelling, help. Applesauce says, are you kidding me? The enemy wasn't a bunch of alien potatoes. It was a terrible king named Antiochus. Antiochus demanded that everyone believed in the same religion as he did, applesauce goes on. So for the Jews, that meant no more studying Torah, no more celebrating Shabbat, and never again worshiping God. King Antiochus and his followers almost completely destroyed the Jewish temple. He was a tyrant. There's a picture of a stone carving of Antiochus, and then there's a picture of Antiochus on his throne throwing a menorah at applesauce's head and setting the religious temples of the Jews on fire. Yes, a tyrant, agrees Grandpa. Judah and the Megabbees were trapped by those evil tater tyrants from planet Chuh. Prisoners in their own hive, they had only enough honey to last one day. Running out of honey? No, they were running out of oil. They needed oil to keep the temple's eternal flame burning. And they weren't bees. Shh. So here's a picture of the alien potatoes trapping the bees inside of their hive. And they don't have enough honey to last them. And applesauce is very distressed down at the bottom, listening to Grandpa's story. The Megabees plotted and schemed, Grandpa says, and the next morning when the sun rose on the temple, an enormous wooden dreidel stood in the village square. What could it be, the alien potatoes all wondered, and why does it buzz? Lucy waves her arms. I know, the Megabees were hiding inside the dreidel. A picture of the giant potato aliens with their many eyes looking at the giant dreidel that has the bees inside of it. Smart Latka, cries Grandpa. Plitz, plats, plots. The Megabees burst from the dreidel and sliced and whipped and mashed those tater tyrants into tatters. Tattered tater tyrants? Lucy asks. Try saying that 3 times fast, Grandpa says. So in the picture, the bees are slicing and dicing all of the potatoes into tiny bits, And down at the bottom, the family is saying, tattered tater tyrants 3 times. That is a tongue twister. And then, miracle of miracles, Grandpa said. Judah Megabee stood in the middle of all those spoiled spuds. What a waste, he said. And so that great warrior added some egg and onion and a pinch of flour to make something good from the bad. Potato latkes. Us? Us. Oi. So here's the picture of the Megabee making potato mixture for latkes. Lucy's eyes and mouth are open wide. So the miracle of Hanukkah is that a long time ago, Megabees turned alien potatoes into latkes? Is that really true? Grandpa, Applesauce, and Lucy are sitting in the living room. Of course it's not true, screams Applesauce. The miracle of Hanukkah is that not only did the small group of Maccabees protect their temple from King Antiochus's powerful army, but also the tiny bit of oil left to light the holy menorah didn't last for just 1 day. That oil kept the eternal light bright for 8 whole days. There's a picture of Applesauce with the oil and the menorah and a calendar. And he's pulled off the 8 days that the oil lasted for. Lucy points to her family's glowing menorah. 8 candle holders, 8 days of the Hanukkah miracle, and the Shabbos, the tallest candle to light the others. So there's a picture of the menorah, and Lucy and her mom are looking at the candle in the middle. You know what, says Grandpa? I like the dog's miracle better. Me too, says Mama. Me too, says Papa. I don't care, says Lex, stuffing his face with chocolate guilt. Lex, you left your room, cries Mama. It's another Hanukkah miracle. Hanukkah! So there's a picture of Grandpa tossing the dog up in the air and Lex getting squeezed by his mom, and the entire house correcting their pronunciation of the word Hanukkah. Grandpa pats Applesauce. Now that we all know the Hanukkah story, he gives a wooden dreidel a little spin. Who wants to hear about Passover? So in the picture, the entire family is standing together, and Lex is stuffing his face with jelly donuts. The end. This video features the song Christmas Village by Aaron Kinney, available under a Creative Commons license. This video was created by KSB Short Course Program Kirsten Price, protected under a Creative Commons license.